Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Hawkins. I'm a clinical director at the Joshua Center and director of Healing Conversations. And it is my honor to have with me today Vashonda Eason, a licensed clinical social worker from Eason Counseling. And it's a really great opportunity where we get to come together and to serve our community because we both care and we want this to be a community effort. So we brought together our two counseling services to be able to reach out to the community. Vashonda, thank you so much for your time in being here.
Yes, thank you for including me in this project. I'm really excited about some great work that we'll be able to do in this community.
And that's exactly right. It's some great work we'll be able to do. And what I've been touched by, Vashonda, is just seeing you and Eason Counseling in the community. So even when you start thinking about this project where we're trying to come together and create services for people, minorities particularly, to be able to deal with the racial stress / racial trauma that they might be experiencing. What might you say as a Black woman yourself, but also a Black mental health worker? What might you say to the community that's hearing this right now about the racial stress and racial trauma that they're experiencing right now in society?
Yes, I mean, first and foremost is that it's real and that it's happening. There's not really an easy way to escape it or ignore it. So I think that it's really important that you find a safe place that you can kind of go out and express some of those feelings that you're having and getting them out. I tell clients all the time, when we keep pushing things down, the thoughts, the negative feelings, the body has a way of making that come out. And so with that, it may be coming out in stress and anger. You might find yourself just being a little bit more on edge, but knowing that you need to have somewhere that you can go to process those feelings and being able to feel supported, to feel heard, and to know that somebody else is experiencing it with you, even from a professional capacity.
That is so right, that what you're experiencing is real and there is so much going on. And so you see it affecting them in just so many parts of their life. And some of the things as I've gotten to talk with you is you've even been able to talk to me about the ways in which it shows up in relationship. And I know that Eason Counseling is a part of to do this effort. You're going to be running some group process classes. And so could you tell us a little bit about those group process classes that you're going to be running?
Sure. So some of the topics that we would want to be able to talk about, especially with parenting through these times, as a parent of three, one of the difficulties I've had is they're seeing some things on the news or they're maybe having some conversations with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to talk about what are the best ways to present this information to our children, how do we raise confident children that can speak up for what they believe in, but also knowing and loving who they are. We also want to tackle some familial issues that may be happening, being able to have some of those difficult conversations with our loved ones, even though we might be on two different sides of the spectrum, being able to come together and be able to help see each other's side and still have that love and respect for each other.
Correct. I love that relational aspect. And so what we're going to be doing over here at the Joshua Center, and I'll be leading most of those classes with a couple of our other therapists that'll be co-facilitators. And we're going to look at probably a 4 to 6 week program. And what we're going to do, what really we see in the African American community, there's been times when it hasn't been that ability to have that freedom to express some of this pain and this grief and to have it validated. And so a lot of that stress gets stored in our bodies in cortisol and adrenaline. And then it manifests itself in heart disease and diabetes and blood pressure and headaches, and we're feeling fatigued. And so what we want to do is to be able to use some of our specialty in training in helping people to work through that stress that they feel even stuck in themselves, where they might feel themselves feeling more irritable, more angry, it then blocking them personally, being able to show up for themselves personally to even acknowledge these emotions, because sometimes it feels like, but does this make me feel weak? Am I less than? Is there something wrong with me because I'm feeling
Yes.
this way? Or am I crazy because I'm angry and it feels like the world's falling apart? But I work in a particular space where there's not many minorities and they're kind of saying like, this isn't real, it's not there. But then it just is affecting their job performance. So we want to be able to come to that individual, take them through a couple-week process to help take and let their body and their soul just kind of work through those different emotions and to have them validate and to feel seen, to help free them up in relationships and their job performance, because that's so important, right? But
Yeah.
also one of the things I've liked that I've heard you talk about, Vashonda, is we also have a care for our whole community, not just minorities. We do understand, and we just want to take this quick second here, that we do understand that there are many of our white brothers and sisters in the community that they care about this, but then they feel themselves trapped where they don't know how to talk about it. But their pastors, their teachers, their
Mhm.
coaches, their bosses on the job that really care, but they're a little bit afraid in their own bodies of
Mhm.
how to show up here with their people that they work with and that they care about that are minorities. I don't know, what might you say to them in this moment too, where they're feeling some racial stress as well too?
I think it's important to find that safe place in order to ask some of those questions, but also in trying to build the confidence in saying, I don't know how to help, I don't know what to say. Start there, and then from there you can kind of talk about, well, when I hear somebody say these things to me, this may be what I feel from that, to kind of navigate some easier conversations that can kind of make sense to both sides. So we work with a lot of teachers and principals, and with that,
Hmm.
you might have students that are coming and saying that kids may be saying things to them, or they don't necessarily know how to react to some negative interactions that they're having. And we'll see people shy away and say nothing. And to that child, it can seem like they're not there, they're not supporting them. It's not that they don't want to, they just don't know what to say. So I think
Exactly.
it is good to seek some guidance on what are the things that we need to say, what are the conversations that it's okay for us to have, and how do we deliver those.
Exactly, Vashana. And that's why I'm excited to partner with you all in this way. Easton will have their own format of what they're doing, the Joshua Center will. But what we're saying is this is so important. So, who we are and how we are as human beings is we are made to really connect and to find safety and connection with the people in our closest proximity, the people we love and our family, but also the people we work with that we go to school with. And so, when we feel like what we're going through, that when we are in a place where we're not safe, we want to seek proximity, we want to seek understanding, we want to seek connection. But when we can't do that, then it feels like I can't share what's going on in me. So then I end up holding it in. Or if you're on the other side, we also, as people, we want to be able to give care to other people. But then when we're in this area and we're talking about race and it feels like it's loaded with so many landmines that could just hurt us, is
Mhm.
that then we don't want to engage, or we get frozen into engage, which then throws us off a little bit here. And so then what we have now in society is everyone is stuck. I don't know if you're safe and I don't know what to say. And
Mhm.
then a place of I don't know is really fearful and an anxiousness in the body, because the body literally says, I don't know, I don't have any good moves here and I'm stuck. And that's what a
Mhm.
lot of people feel, not even just with race, but also with COVID. We feel stuck. I don't know what's safe. I don't know what's not safe. I don't know if I should wear a mask. If I should, I don't know what I should do. I don't know.
Mhm.
And then
And
that's
how
where our
to be
clients come in.
okay with, am I doing enough?
That's right.
What is our level of involvement in the social changes of it in those conversations, or are we only responsible for what happens in our own household? I think it's important for us to be able to have those kinds of conversations as well. Where is your investment? Just because we don't see you out in the front lines, that's okay. You may be having some of those lessons and those conversations on the background that are giving just as much to the social change of that. And we need to be proud of that and be supportive of that too.
That is 100% correct. And so, even in closing, we just thank you for giving me this time to kind of have this interview with you to talk and for our public. And so, if you say, you know what, I do need some help, and particularly right now, just we've got some business partners in the community, and they really see that this is an issue that needs to be addressed, and this is Minority Mental Health Month. And so, in that same vein, in that light, that's why I'm so happy to be in Northwest Arkansas to have this community that cares, right? And they want to make this positive difference, is that they've been able to kind of come alongside both of these counseling agencies and says, hey, we know this is a need. And so we want to create a way to where we want to put some funds behind this to help supplement giving some mental health care to our minority community. And so what they've created for us is right now there's going to be one central website called mendingracialpain.com. And at mendingracialpain.com, you'll be able to go on that website. You'll hear a little bit about the Joshua Center and Easton Counseling and the different things that we each are going to be doing. You'll get to be familiar with some of the therapists that will be involved in the program to kind of see who you might want to be matched up with. You've gotten to hear Vashonda talk about some of the groups that they're going to be running at Easton Counseling, which sounds awesome, by the way. And then we're going to talk about what we're doing here at the Joshua Center. And I think it's awesome as well, too. But you get to choose where you want to go. And so with the group experience, that's open to all ethnic minorities. But then with the individual counseling, that is going to be open to some ethnic minorities in a different financial status that might not normally be able to access counseling because of different barriers there. But what we want you to do, no matter who you are, what your financial status is, what we want you to do is go to mendingracialpain.com. There's going to be some questions that they'll ask you on there. And then what they'll do is they'll make sure that you get to the appropriate service that you need. Because like Vashonda said, this is not a time for any of us to feel like we're alone and stuck in this place where we don't know, and it's not safe to ask questions or to share what's going on in us, because that just really further exacerbates all the problems that we're suffering with individually already in this place where we're having to physically distance from one another. And so, Vashonda, thank you so much for your time and for what your team is doing. We're
Thank
just so thankful to have you in the community.
Thank you. Thank you for also being in this community. I know we have a lot looking for mental health providers that look like us. So it is great to have a partnership and being able to do this.